Hello, George. Thank you for joining me this morning for me, and I think it's your evening or no?
Mid afternoon, 4 o'clock.
Mid-afternoon. Okay, 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Thank you. I should know because I have family in Melbourne as well. But anyway, we
Oh,
might
okay.
we might talk about this later. Um, so, thank you for joining me. Can you please introduce yourself to the audience and say who you are, what you're doing, and also a little bit where you're coming from? Because in your biography, you just there's a few dots I could connect, but just kind of introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your musical journey, and then we take it from there and see what I still would like to know, or hopefully the audience as well.
Yeah, sure. Well, my name's George, and my musical project is Pale Leagues. Um, and Pale Leagues is a culmination of a lot of years of searching for music that I felt was authentic to my own soul. So after a very long time of different bands and all through the 90s and through the 2000s, I finally decided that it was time to take matters into my own hands, so to speak, and really push the production side of my music forward, so I could find a truer path to what I was trying to achieve musically. And that's not to say, working with other people is a bad thing. It's a great thing, but sometimes you need to take total control of your direction and put your own sort of your own individual stamp on it. So Pale Leagues, I would say, is the zenith of this sort of path that I've been on for quite a while now.
Okay, okay. So this sounds like you deliberately want to do it on your own. So just that you can kind of have your the truest vision of what you wanted to do, basically.
Correct. Yes.
And
Yeah.
I see, you're sitting, for the people on the podcast, of course, we cannot see it, but you're sitting in your rehearsal space, it seems like.
Yeah,
Um,
that's correct. Yeah, my studio.
and you play everything on your own, or you have people helping you out, like with drums or something?
No, everything by myself.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not
I
bad.
know it's a very it's a very totalitarian approach.
No, no, it's fine. I talk with a lot of people, and I'm always amazed what you can do these days, and you're doing it quite well. But if I'm right, there's only 3 songs out so far for Pale Leaks, right?
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, three singles that were released in the last quarter of last year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they are the precursor to, and no one knows this yet, but I've just signed a label deal
Ooh,
with an
so we're
Australian,
exclusive here.
exclusive, yeah, with an Australian label, and we'll be putting out both digital and physical Pale Leagues material in 2021.
Okay, and I think this goes without saying. There is more to come.
Yeah, indeed. There's more to come.
Okay, label D, cool. So yeah, where to start? I have a few. First, okay, maybe from my perspective, I'm for me, you are a little bit fringe, just for my little universe, because I'm kind of dark wave, gothic rock, and industrial metal. This is kind of my thing, what goes on my radio show and also in my playlist. And so you fit in well there, but with all this blackened death, no, black metal, death metal. This is not my usual kind of thing, and I mean I get to know you now a little bit, and you seem like a very how you say well-meaning, warm-hearted person. And the persona you because I never know what I get when I start a talk, and so
Yeah.
I was expecting, okay, maybe you were some corpse paint or whatever, and so how did your love for this very dark subject? I'm completely with you. I like it because I see it like an outlet for you know not humans are not always good or evil or something. We're always something in between, and it's. I think you found an outlet for the darker stuff, for sure. And this is a healthy approach to let out, the dark sides every one of us has. Nobody is completely nice or completely bad or whatever. But how did it happen to you that you ventured so much into this? Black metal aesthetics, because it's not so usual for you're the first one from Australia I meet there, and I have friends in Norway, and where this is kind of more common. It's kind of like normal for them. So how did maybe give us a little bit more of your backstory, how your love for this genre comes about?
Yeah, for sure. I've always been on the darker sort of side of things, where my formative years were listening to The Cure and Joy Division and Bauhaus and Christian Death and all of those, all of the cornerstone sort of goth stuff. And when I moved to Melbourne in the mid-90s, there was a very, very strong gothic band scene in Melbourne at the time.
Okay. Cool.
There were regular nightclub nights, 3 or 4 a week. There were bands playing all over. And a lot of the people that were sort of in that sort of scene started to branch off as gothic rock sort of did at that time. Some people went into the industrial sort of side of things. Some people went further, just, battened down the hatches and stayed true to the old school sort of style.
True is very important in metal, I know.
Whereas I kind of started to venture out through the bands that I was playing in towards a heavier style of music, which was more extreme metal. And I started in a band in Melbourne called Insect, and that band ended up becoming Halo, which was signed to Relapse in the very sort of late 90s, I think, early 2000s. And we were all sort of trying to get heavier and darker and doomier and all that sort of stuff.
So you kind of wanted to outclass all the others.
Yeah. Everyone was trying to be heavier than everyone else, that kind of thing. And I kind of, kept that path for a while, and then I kind of ventured off and did a few other different things. And then I sort of came back to, as I said, the idea of, producing my own stuff. And initially that stuff was a lot more Darkwave, and more sort of synth wavy goth sort of style stuff, which, on a side note, I'll be releasing that stuff this year as well, but that's another story.
Please let me know. This sounds like exactly my kind of thing.
And so as I was venturing into this sort of thing, I had a couple of people close to me pass away, and they were those really big seismic first time in your adult life that you lose either a parent or a peer. So I had that happened, 2 people close to me at the same time, and I just it really sort of it sidelined me for quite a while I tried to work out where I was going with everything. And I just had this kind of need to cope, as a coping mechanism. I kind of traveled down that really sonically black path, because that's pretty much the pure essence of the feeling that I was having at the time. So that was the closest, the closest thing that kind of ties it all together for me is that blackened edge of the stuff. So Pale Leagues became my mourning persona in a way.
Okay, I got it. Yeah. Okay. That's sorry for your loss. But of course, I'm get it. I mean, this is. I think there's the truest form of art or music or art. Let's keep it like art is the toughest emotion every always can connect. I mean, that's the funny thing for me, you know. I mean, I'm in music as well, and you know, as a DJ and stuff. And there will always be new love songs. There will be always gothic and dark songs about loss and despair and all these things, because you know this is universal human stuff. So this is
Yeah.
kind of what. You know, everyone can relate to. I ventured also in theater and stuff, and there's still a reason why you know, Shakespeare is played, because they just touch on universal things. And so you know, this what you're just saying, what I wanted to say with so many words is, it never gets old. It always, you know,
Yeah.
has a new take and a new lease of life about death.
Yeah, yeah.
To put
Well,
it this
look,
way.
it's a condition, a human condition that sort of encompasses all of the feelings. You know what I mean? Because you have love involved in there, you have empathy, you have devotion, you have all these different things,
Hmm.
as well as, you know, as well as the sort of the darker stuff that you have to process, whether that's, um, you know, feeling your own mortality, which
Hmm.
is always a big one. You know what I mean? And then you start to think, oh, you know, I really need to get my shit together and start getting some stuff out, because you don't know, you know.
Exactly. That's a good point. You know, even if it's for other people, for outsiders, it might sound, you know, very bleak and dark. It's kind of also, it gives you the energy and the force to do something, because I mean, life is so important. It's so special because it can end. You know, so
Yeah, yeah,
you know how to use your time better, because you have only this amount of time, and nobody knows how long he will live. I mean, only if you take your life.
yeah.
Not, let's not go there, but you know what I mean. But the thing is, you know, life is so special and so precious, because it is not forever. So it's what you do with it, and acknowledging that you will die. For me, this is kind of the opposite of what usual people think. It makes it more worthwhile to live. You know, so
Yeah,
knowing your own mortality is kind of giving you a new perspective, and I think the right perspective. This is a little bit. Okay, this is a completely different subject. I'm sorry, I'm wearing off already, but
that's okay.
it's it's what our society kind of lacks a little bit, you know. If you turn
Yeah,
on the TV, you see deaths. Rambo kills millions of people. I mean, felt like millions of
yeah,
people,
yeah,
but nobody confronts his own death. You know, there's always, it goes on and on and on, and you never think about it. You keep yourself busy with all the social media and stuff, that you don't confront your inner fears and stuff. So now, getting back to your music, and so I think it's important that people get kind of at least a little bit, you know, initial pushed a little bit, and you know, think about it. You're also mortal, and there is dark things, and you have to face it, because everyone in his life has to face it one day, either his own demise, or of course, you know, like you said, the loved ones, because you know, your own demise doesn't really count, because you're gone.
well,
It's
that's
you
it.
know,
Yeah.
but you know, with your loved ones and things, and but instead of despairing, I think it makes everything sweeter. You know, every interaction you have with the ones you have living, and you laugh and you're around you, it makes it so much more special to be with them, because you kind of, you know that you will lose them one day, and but
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
it makes it
That's right.
more
Look,
worthwhile.
there's a you know, I always think about this, that there seem there's like a melancholy that runs through everyone's life, you know, and it
Yeah.
comes from the moment that whether you're you know, a small child, or whenever you first face that question, your own mortality, and you all of a sudden realize that you know, it's not an infinite proposition; it's a very finite thing. Um, you know, then you've set yourself a challenge through your life to sort of accept that. You know what I mean? Like, at some point, you're going to need to accept it.
Hmm.
Some people accept it by totally ignoring it and not, you know, not
Hmm.
giving any thought to it, or any promo to it. Um, but you know, people that are sort of, you know, artists, and people that are, you know, appreciate music, and can, you know, feel the power of what music can do. I think facing that melancholy and, you know, celebrating it in a way that is making it beautiful,
Hmm.
and making it relatable, make it danceable, or whatever
Hmm.
the thing
Yep.
is that you do. It sort of brings everyone into your, you know, into your commentary on it by them feeling it,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
feeling it the way that you intended to feel it, or, you know, they're going to feel it in their own way, but you're giving them, you know, a bit of a canvas to do so with that sort of material.
Yeah, I think this is in my past. I had a lot of stuff to do with the Middle Ages and stuff, and where it seemed to be more common because people were dying much earlier, so it was always
Yeah,
around with death. So and they would celebrate it, and they would they would know that this happens, um, and we put it away. We also put it in the hospitals and stuff. You don't see things anymore, and
yeah,
lots of people don't have even seen a dead body today, um, and like you said, I was just thinking as you were talking, sometimes the pendulum also swings in the other direction that people are too afraid to do anything. I had once a coworker, and he said, sometimes I'm afraid to get up because I know, when I get up, things can happen, and I could,
yeah,
on the autobahn or on the streets, I could, be run over and stuff. So, you have, like you said, you have to find the middle ground to, appreciate what you have. Be careful, not to, I don't know,
yeah. Willfully put yourself in danger. Yeah, things like
exactly.
that.
I mean, but it could be too. Skydiving, whatever, trucks.
Well,
Not
yeah.
let's not go there. But and you should, life is there for living. So I don't want to tell you what you have to do, but what I would tell everyone is live it. Because it doesn't matter. Um, the years don't matter. It matters what you put in the years you have lived. So when you always, I had one close to me also who always said, "If I have this, then I will be happy." You need to be
Oh,
happy
yeah,
now. I
yeah,
guess, yeah.
yeah,
Everyone knows, and this is so bad because you put off things because once you have this, then you will be happy. That's absolutely wrong because first of all, you never know how long you will live, and then you need to be happy now. When I, my okay. That's the last sentence, and then we move on to some other subjects. Um,
that's okay.
um, I always try to live like, this is not my last day or something, but that if I would die now, that I kind of have tried everything I wanted to try. There's still things I want to, I want to move up to. But if I would get run over by a car right now, there's nothing I regret because the things you regret is only the things you haven't done. I did a lot
Yeah,
of stupid things in my life, that's for sure, and I guess everyone has, but.
yeah,
Uh, you only regret the things you haven't done. If you look back, if you get older and you look back and like, oh, if I would have done this and that, I could have, and so and now I know I did it. It failed completely. I started my own business. I got bankrupt and whatever. And
yeah,
but it's fine. I did it. You have to live your life also. Don't be too afraid. So you have to kind of find the middle ground between, not, um, yeah, be too careless, but also not to
yeah.
kind of to yeah, overprotect yourself.
Yeah, I think
Um,
it's the way you, you know, for myself, and I'm sure it's different for a lot of people, but there came a time when I was, you know, I was thinking about sort of these Viking sort of ideas and things like that. And there's a really great sort of saying that they have where, you know, fate is already written. There's nothing you can do about changing that fate. So
mhm,
you might as well approach life in that regard and say, well, my fate's already written. All I can do is my best
mhm,
to be, you know, make some kind of contribution to life in whatever way that is.
mhm.
Um, and just be kind of comfortable in the knowledge that, you know, your time comes when your time comes, and there's not really anything you can do about it.
Okay.
So it's not really worth the energy to worry about it.
Mhm. That's a good point. Yeah, it's a kind of a deterministic view of a world, and yeah, it kind of takes away the thing. Oh, what could I do? Because it can make you lazy because it's kind of like, oh, everything is set in stone anyway. But it also can be can free yourself, and this is what you're referring to kind of let's put some life into the time we have here, because everything is set there, and when my time comes, I'm going without
That's right. Yeah.
because there's nothing I can change. So we start with the deep stuff right away, but it's good. So you already said you wanted to make this as a solo project because you wanted to have it. But by the way, I wanted to say, cool beard. I really like your beard.
Thank you.
I'm always too lazy to really go through. I let it grow, and then I cut it and let it grow again. But yeah, never to this length. I'm kind of I know what gets into this. You have to really I'm a bit lazy.
You have to devote to it.
Exactly. You have to. So the solo project. One thing I often find, or what I would like to know is, how do you decide when a song is finished for you? Because this is always the tough spot for a solo musician, because you cannot, you can put on layers and layers and stuff, and it's never, sometimes in a band, and you have been in bands, it's easier to, I only can play this bass line, and then it stops, it's kind of, how do you get to the point where you say, okay, this song is finished?
It's usually when I start to get to the point where I've put a whole heap of stuff onto the track, and I go away for a while, and then I come back and I delete most of that, and I trim it down to the least amount of moving parts as possible. That still gets the point across, because it's quite easy in in this day and age to have 40, 50, 60 tracks
to overproduce things. Yeah.
Well, yeah, if look, I'm all for people that can use that amount of stuff and make something beautiful, because people do that. But for me, I guess if you listen to it and you can feel where you started from still in that finished track, so the initial inspiration, the initial idea is still there, I think that kind of, for me, is where I get to the point where I think I've done, where I can take it. Oftentimes I might go back to that song months later and completely, do something completely different to it, or whatever. But mostly, I try and sort of start and finish each thing, at least to a point where I can, finish a mix, a reference mix, and I can just put it aside and leave it on the computer for a while and come back and see what I've got once I've got a few bits and pieces put together,
Okay. And when you have like friends or people you show it to get some other opinions, because this is the problem, that you're in your own bubble and you cannot hear it.
Yeah,
I mean, even if you put it away for a while.
To be frank, it's sort of hard to rely on friends to listen to your stuff, because they've got their own thing that they're doing, and artists are very temperamental. Oh, why hasn't he listened to you must hate it, or something like that. So yeah, it is hard to sort of have quality control, but I do have a couple of close friends, Sky, who's still in Halo, and he's got my friend Sky Klein, who I've played music with over the last 25 years since I moved to Melbourne. He was the first band that I moved to in with. I run things past him and a few other people that I know, sort of that can give me a critical view of the audio and stuff like that. When it comes to just the vibe of things, just close friends, occasionally. But now, back to the fact that I'll be putting stuff out on a label. The guy that runs the label, I can't give you too much of the.
Yeah, I don't want to push you. Don't tell me anything I shouldn't know.
But I will let you know when it's about to happen. He's been helping me a lot with that sort of stuff as well. Just just a sounding board for ideas and things like that. So it's always good to have some kind of mentor in your life, I think.
Yeah, no, exactly. This is what I also, I personally need people to yeah, like a soundboard, to put things out, not only just music, or sometimes, sometimes you have an idea in your head and it makes sense, but if you spell it out, then it's like, oh man, this is really stupid, or you need
Yeah,
somebody who
yeah.
tells you, this is a stupid idea or something. Anyway, yeah, it's good to have this. So you also do your mixing and mastering, your own mixing and mastering.
I do the mixing. I don't do the mastering.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you have somebody else.
So
Okay.
everything down to the mixing, and then the mastering. But with the new label, they'll be doing some mixing as well. So that's a new element into the mix, and the stuff that we've got back so far. We'll be re-releasing um, the track Object
Mm-hmm.
in probably 5 or 6 weeks' time, and that has a new label mix,
Okay.
and it sounds incredible. It's so very widescreen.
So you love your own music? How how strange? This is also my favorite one. You have only 3 songs out so far, so it's not tough to get through your catalog at the
Yeah,
moment. But yeah, this is my favorite as well. It's a really made song, and if it's get better, I'm gonna
yeah,
definitely listen to it anyway again. So. I know you are in a tough lockdown right now in Melbourne. Or maybe it's loosened a little bit, but in the past it was quite tough. So
yeah.
you might have had a lot of time to work on things. I take it,
Yes,
but
indeed.
um, so you have had not a chance to make any live iterations of Pale Leaks, or do you have any plans anyway because it's a solo project?
Yeah, that's it's something I've been kind of mulling over in my mind, and there's always the Burzum excuse. You can always say that I'd rather people kind of close their eyes and imagine the music and not
Hmm.
think of it as a performer standing on a stage playing solos and doing all that sort of stuff. But never say never, I guess.
Okay, okay. So no
Because
no no
I just
definite plans yet.
no definite plans, no. But let's see how the next year sort of pans out.
Hmm. Okay. So okay, this we got. Yeah, and what I in the research of you, I kind of was like, you seem very well connected because I found you on a lot of radio stations, and on Metal Perver, from if it's a Turkish outlet and stuff. So I think this comes from your past, that you kind of had all these connections and you just could send things to, or do you have? I mean, now we're not talking about your label again, but do you have somebody who helps you with the promotion? Because you're doing quite well for just 3 songs, and an artist who has not played live yet. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's kind of you're doing good.
Well, thank you. Well, to be totally transparent, in my day job, I am actually a music publicist,
Oh,
and I work for.
okay, okay, okay. No, no, no,
But
no further question asked.
well, I don't work in
Mm,
this realm though. You know
mm.
what I mean? The
Okay.
stuff that I do is a lot different. It's
Hmm.
more pop sort of stuff and
Hmm.
more Australian radio sort of
Okay,
stuff.
okay.
But that grounding, working for labels and things like that, I kind of have an idea of who to send things out to. But on the same token, I really wanted Pale Leagues to go out and to not have to follow up with anyone.
Hmm.
All I've done for each song is send out a press release. I haven't chased interviews, or all of the energy I've received back has been um, uh, volunteered. It hasn't
Hmm.
been, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I see you didn't pull the
In
strings
my
or
day
something.
job, in my
Yeah.
day
Hmm.
job, I'm on,
Hmm. Hmm.
harassing people to do stuff. So I don't, I've purposely not wanted to do that with Pale Leagues, because I kind of felt it's the type of music that I know it's polarizing. You're either going to like it or you're not going to like it. And I know the people that are going to
Hmm.
like it are probably going to really, really take it on board.
Hmm.
And sometimes in music that's a little bit more throwaway and popular,
Hmm.
The love for something is a little bit more superficial. So yeah, I really wanted to try and find the people out there that got me.
Hmm. Now, and this is also, I mean, yeah, you have a more extreme spectrum of music. I mean, what you're doing, but also, just in a more grounder sense, in a bigger sense, art should be like you should have a reaction to it. Like you in
Yeah,
your day job, you have pop music. When it's kind of like, for me, I call it elevator music. It's
yeah,
it's throwaway music. It's kind of bubblegum. It's something you have and then you throw out and stuff.
yeah. That's
So
right.
and you are, I mean, we already talked in the beginning. This is the deeper subjects and stuff. So people will react to it either that we really like it or they really don't like it or don't want to touch it because it kind of plays with their heartstrings and stuff. And this is
Yeah,
for me, it's the right attitude because this is what art should do. Art should get a reaction. With you, if you don't react or just say, like I said, bubblegum pop or something, oh, it's fine. It doesn't matter.
yeah,
It can play or it cannot play. It doesn't really make much difference. So this is not what it should be. I really like I said, object, and it's really doomy, and it draws you in, and you cannot not really listen to it. I can imagine maybe other people who are more mainstream oriented that we kind of would say, yeah, I don't want to go this road, like we already said. But
yeah, yeah,
my point is, your music is polarizing, and this is a good thing because it's you know there's a Bible word like if you're not hot or not cold or something, you're nothing. If you're lukewarm,
yeah,
it
yeah,
doesn't mean anything. Then you kind of going back to the thing what we said earlier. But then what is life for? If you don't live it to the fullest potential. One question I have remaining though, it's a little bit. And you don't have to answer it if you don't want to answer it. You write something like Blackened Doom Manifest. So this sounds a little bit. Okay, I need to phrase it very, very carefully. I
okay,
know,
yeah,
of course, in Sweden and Norway, where they burn down churches and things and stuff. And I don't think you want people to. But the word manifest kind of makes me a little bit. I mean, what do you want to say with that? Because it seems like you have a message or something besides, going down the darker road and facing your own mortality and stuff. Is there something else you want to? Because the word manifest kind of, it,
yeah.
it, tr- it triggers me. It triggers me.
Yeah, there's a duality to the word in that context that I've used there, and the manifest the is it's a manifestation
Ah,
is
okay,
more
okay.
what I'm saying.
Hmm.
So it's a doom metal manifestation. Um, to kind of go down the path um, of the reputation that black metal received in those in the kind of the really full on years of the style. um you know it's almost like an excuse for psychopaths to go out and do
Yeah,
shit, like
exactly. Just
whereas this is
hedonism and whatever and narcissism and stuff.
yeah, well, this is more, it's more about I think it's the manifestation of the feeling that I was telling you about before, that I found myself in.
Hmm.
The crush of grief, and the working out of how to get through that sort of stuff. My way to get through it is to manifest this sound, which is and doom is, you know I struggled with putting that there for a while, and I just thought, just to draw the type of people that I want, to have a listen to this or take a chance on this. I figured that if they're in that realm of music, they might find this, but it might be too, um, not riffy enough, or like some doom bands are just like all
Okay.
riff and
Yeah, okay.
and
Yeah. That's true. That's true. That's a little bit that sets you apart from. Yeah, I mean, you're not black metal, and it's not. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, you have only 3 songs out, so it's really
I
hard
know,
to see where you will go. But it's interesting, I mean, you're making things in a new way, and this is what music is about. We touched on it just briefly before. I really hate, and I guess you have the same vibe. The oh, this is not true death metal. So
yeah,
you cannot put this out. This is not true. And you know what? I mean, I can swear on my channel here. What the fuck, I mean, if everyone would have said this is not true, we would still play blues rock and stuff. I mean, this
yeah,
is music is freedom, and you can run in every direction you want. As long as you like it, it's fine, and as long as you like it, somebody else might like it. And this is the cool thing today. I don't have to tell you. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking with you in Melbourne, and I'm here in
I still
Germany.
can't believe it.
Exactly. I grew up behind the Iron Curtain. I grew up in the in the GDR in East
Yeah,
Germany,
yeah.
the Russian zone, and I never thought that I would travel somewhere. And now I have a wife from Australia. This
Yeah,
is
right.
anyway. My point is, when you like your music, and you should, of course, with things. The providing today, you can find an audience in Mexico, in Germany, in somewhere. It doesn't matter anymore. It's kind of you might not click with the people right where you are, but around the world people will find it. I mean, if they find it, as I can tell you as a DJ, and you know it yourself. There's an avalanche of music,
Oh,
and
yeah.
because today everyone on his cell phone can produce a tune and send it out to Spotify, and then thinks he will become a superstar or whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so
It's an incredibly, it's a very interesting time for music in general. And it probably would have felt the same when when vinyl first came out, when it was accessible after the 78s, when they were doing singles and things like that.
mhm,
It would have felt, and it feels like this now. It's kind of like there's really nothing holding anyone back
mhm.
from putting stuff out. Sure, that results in, there's a lot of kind of stuff that could probably do with a little bit more work,
Let me tell you,
but
there is.
but there's a lot of really great stuff, because you don't need to rely, as you once did, on on a third party to put your
Mhm.
stuff out. You can do it yourself, and if you're lucky, maybe a third party will come to you and help you put it out.
Like it happened to you.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah. This is it's a double-edged sword. It's the good and it's the bad, because I like it. That everyone can express the freedom, but this touches on a thing where you also fall a little bit short, you could say, because the good thing with your music is it's hard to really put a label on it, because I wouldn't say. I mean, I can see a lot of influence in it, the black and doom stuff and whatever, but it's neither there or there, I mean, it's and that's a good thing. I like it that it's genre fluid, like I call it. Um,
yeah. I like that.
on the other hand, it's also tough for other DJs to really because like I told you, I like gothic, industrial, and darkwave. That's kind of my thing, and you fall good into it, but you're still a little bit fringe because of the black metal
Yeah,
influences and stuff. For me, fringe, don't get it wrong. Um, but for me, the double-edged sword comes into this. If I listen to everything what is out there, I will find stuff what I would really like, dark pop and even maybe a reggae song or something. But I
yeah,
cannot, because there's way too much. So that's why
yeah,
I have, even if I don't like it that much, I have to put on categories and things. I only want gothic, I only want dark wave, and I only want to. So. Um, that's the good and the bad. The good is there's tons of music out there, but I have to define a filter, because otherwise I would get overwhelmed with stuff. And there might be good
yeah,
stuff. I also played some rap songs. I'm not in rap at all, but there was some cool stuff there, and I'm glad I found it, but it's rare, so I'm not going there, but I go through 100 rap songs to find one I will like, when I rather go through 100 gothic songs and find maybe 20 I like, That's the trouble today, and so I really like that we can not really box you in. That's a really cool thing. But I mean, you will talk with your label guy about it. It will be hard to sometimes market you a little bit, because for the true guys you might be a little bit too soft. For the not so true guys you might be a little bit too hard, or too dark and gloomy and whatever. But anyway, you will find your niche. I'm pretty sure of it, because there's already a quality. I mean, you're not coming. You have not fallen from the sky. You have a backdrop. And you know what to do and how to do it, and you seemingly also take your time. That's a good thing as well, because a lot of musicians, especially because it's so easy today, just it's done, boom, boom, and they send it out. And I have been like this before, and so it's better to sit a little bit on it and take some time, because as you know. You only get one shot at a first impression, and if the first impression is bad, then people will most likely, especially like I said, they will not go further in this avalanche of music today. Sorry, so now I was just ranting. Let's go back to you. Is there any? Do you work on some videos and stuff? I saw a little bit a teaser video where you did some, and I see a backdrop here in your back, but it seems maybe more like that you use it for projection and stuff. But you're working on some.
It's sunny here, so it's closed.
So it's a window. I see.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it looks like a how you say, a screen where you project.
Yeah. Well, I did shoot the one video in here for the song Crusade, which is the third single that was released last year. So all of those are on YouTube, and that last one is a little performance video that I made in here one night when I'd got friends to help me on the two first videos. Actual filmmakers to help me do those. But this one I just felt like I'll just do something, and I got a smoke machine and turn the lights down and sort of just did something. But yeah, that's something I want to sort of expand on, sort of moving forward. Really sort of to work more in that space, and sort of take the visual aspects of what Pale Leagues is about further as well. And that's things I'm kind of working on with the label as well at the moment, because they have a designer on board. I'm not a designer. I'm a musician, So
yeah, no, I hear you.
Know what they're doing.
Exactly. No, I'm completely with you. For me, it's kind of like, where you're good at, and what you can do, and what you also want to do. So I always think it's good if you know some other professions who are good at what we're doing. So maybe we're coming back to you with your artwork. So who did your art? Because you have some very professional pictures of you, and also the artwork is this little stick thing. So who did this? This was it you, or I mean the pictures we were taking from you couldn't, but
No, my wife took those.
Oh, okay.
The portraits. So she took those after. She's a makeup artist.
Perfect. You got it right. You got it right.
I know. She's a makeup artist and a reluctant photographer when it comes to doing my stuff, because I'm very hard to work with, she says. So
okay. Why are you hard to work with?
I'm very exacting. But she took those photos, and the early graphic stuff. That I did that. I did that stuff, but the newer stuff is going to be a little bit more of a step up for the physical releases.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, the I don't know much about black metal, but what I know about black metal is you can get away with a lot of stuff. Even cranny artwork and deliberately bad pictures or things and even production values. I had one guy who sent me a song and I was like, man, this is a really great song, but the production value sounds like shit, And he said, oh yeah, this was on purpose because I wanted to make it, like a early black metal song where I just put in a tape recorder in the middle of a room and played everything, and like. And it sounded exactly like that, but he wanted, the aesthetic of the early black metal, where we just, the lo-fi approach and stuff. So in a way you could get away with it. It has a certain charm that it's kind of like homemade things where you ripped out things out of a newspaper or stuff and glue it together. But okay. It also, we're getting back to this first impression thing. If people really don't get this vibe, then they might discard it because it looks not so well done.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm kind of through with my the questions I had, and it was quite fast answered because I was like, okay, I never know who I get when on this channel here on this program, and with your pictures I was like, okay, maybe I'm a very touchy subject and stuff, but you're very easygoing. So if you want, I can ask you some more open questions.
Sure.
Okay. So one thing is, of course, not with Pale Leaks, but you have had experience on stage before, right? With your other bands, Halo and there was Insect.
Yeah.
So do you have any funny stories what happened on stage, off stage, touring, or being on the road that you can share?
Well, oh look, there's there's probably a lot of stories that I could share. I can't think of anything particularly funny. Look, all I can really remember is some of the crazy fun times that you have on tour. I toured Germany in 2013, I think.
Okay, cool.
With Terminal Sound System, which is another one of Sky Klein's projects.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a friend from Melbourne living in Berlin doing a beer making apprenticeship.
It's a place to be to do that.
Well,
Germany.
Yeah, so I have to say that was probably one of the bigger hangovers I've ever had, because we sort of went, because they were I think at the time there was a big sort of explosion of microbreweries around Berlin, so there's lots of, so we were going from one to the other, to the other, to the other. Things like that, I guess, are funny, being stuck on the side of the road in Poland and watching a man walk probably 1,500 meters with a massive truck tire and a stick, and he was just kind of slowly wheeling it along, and it just looked like the most quaint,
bizarre. It's kind of like bizarre
sort of thing. Yeah. Things like that, I guess, stick with me. But in playing live in Melbourne, especially during the 90s and stuff, it was very beer fueled sort of time. Not much money, but bands got paid in some alcohol, so you made the most of that.
Okay, no, but it's fun, and when you're young, you just wanna play, and you don't care so much about it, and and you invite your friends and stuff. So another question I always like to ask, and as you have been on tour, did you had any starstruck moment, where you shared the stage with somebody you were, really admiring, or did you meet someone, on a festival or so, where you're kind of like, I'm a little fanboy, and ooh.
Well, no, not really. No.
Hmm.
Most of the stuff that most of the stuff that I've played has always been very underground,
Hmm.
and it's probably local,
Hmm.
locally famous more than anything else. I probably find that more in my day job when I'm working with big name artists.
Hmm.
That I have the occasional moment of being, tongue tied and
Hmm.
mumbling and,
I see.
but generally not really. You know what I mean?
Hmm. So, but what would it be to make you starstruck? I mean, who at the moment
Oh, who?
would give me three you would be really like to meet, and as you are into this profession, so you're a seasoned guy, but give me three
Yeah.
or a few who would kind of make you tongue tied from what you like, not what you have to deal with, but what you would like.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I think I would really like, to meet Trent Reznor. I think that would be
Oh yeah. Hmm.
a really kind of um, interesting conversation if you got the chance to have one. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I'd also like to, you know, do they have to be alive?
Um, no, no.
I think Lux Interior from the Cramps would be an interesting one.
Okay.
Um, and I don't know. Nobody metal, I don't think.
Hmm. Oh, it's a little bit odd, huh? Isn't it? I mean, you're kind of in the metal realm, and you kind of branch out here. But I like it, because I mean, because of your profession, I guess you have to be open-minded and you have to find things you like, even in music you don't like. Kind of, I could
Well, that's the
imagine.
key. That's the key skill. Yeah, that's the key skill. Trying to, I always say to friends, because I'm always going to shows by myself, and I'm
Hmm.
like, because we have a young child and stuff, so I just go by myself when it's a work thing, and sometimes I take friends and I go, look, you're gonna have to be open-minded because this is a, whatever
Hmm.
it is, country,
Hmm.
roots show or something like that. So you're gonna have to try and find something on your own to get into it, and normally they do because it's generally, regardless of the genre, good music is good music. You can sort of find, you
Hmm.
can find amazing music in things that you're not even into. Like you said before, reggae or dub or, for me, it's, there's been, artists that I've worked with in America, on the Americana front or, things like that,
Hmm.
where you kind of go, oh yeah, these people are successful because they're good. You can
Hmm.
see, you can
Hmm.
hear it.
Yeah, I just learned from another artist who is an Americana singer what Americana is, because I didn't really know. Because for me, what's the difference between Americana and country? Because I couldn't really, or folk music, and so, and then she explained it to me, and so I liked it too, because it wasn't. She was fringe for my show as well, but uh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get exactly what you're talking about, because my wife is really in this Eurovision Song Contest thing. That's
Oh, yeah,
for
yeah,
some
yeah,
reason
yeah.
it's big in Australia for whatever reason,
Oh, it's
because
huge here. Yeah,
I don't get
they
it.
let us in. They let us do it.
Yeah, Eurovision, you're not in Europe, so it's kind of
I
really
know
funny.
it's.
You're really far away from Europe, and but her parents turned it on to it, and as you just said, for me it was always because we watched it together, and I'm not really into this music, but of course I find things when you can kind of, oh yeah, that's a nice visual, or they do, the showmanship is really good, or the music is well crafted, or they are nice choreographing things and stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there are so many things you can still appreciate even if you don't like the music. So so I know exactly what you're talking about, and what your friends hopefully also found, because yeah, my wife and me, we have completely different tastes. Otherwise, she listens to K-pop, but I'm really not into it. But
Oh,
anyway,
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's so far away. So yeah, thank you very much. It was very enlightening to get your perspective, and to find the person behind the music. If you have some closing thoughts, please share. Otherwise, yeah, I thank you for your time, And yeah, I'm really looking forward what comes out. And of course, if Object gets remastered, as you said, please send it to me. I have a playlist and I have a radio show, and I would like to play it because this fits.
Oh, lovely.
Fits perfectly in my in my darker realm of music.
Yeah, well, look, I'd just like to finish by extending thanks and thank you for supporting me and reaching out. And it was such a nice, such an edifying thing to see a message pop up and have someone interested in what you're doing. You know what I mean? And that sustains artists all around the world. I think that just that simple action. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
I will definitely stay in touch with you for the remastered Pale League stuff. And I'll also send you when it's ready another project that I'm working on that might fit right into your more
the Darkwave project. I see.
Your Darkwave thing.
Cool. Thank you very much. Please continue doing what you're doing. I really like it, and I think your head is on the right place, and you take it like it comes along, and this is the best thing. You are very level-headed. That's what I want to say, and that's good because sometimes I talk with younger musicians who kind of think, we're gonna conquer the world, and they might, but how the chances are. Then again, there's a reality we have to deal with, and anyway. So thank you very much. I really enjoyed our talk, and please stay in touch. And I will end the recording now.